Hello everyone and welcome back. In this clip we perform custom calculations in a pivot table using the Show Values As and Summarise Values By tools. These tools can be used to display each field's total as a percentage of the grand total, show differences between columns in a pivot table, and display running totals, rankings or percentages. The pivot definition for this exercise is to display sales of product by category, filtered by order date and calculating the sales amount. We're also going to show values for the number of units sold and percentages representing the percent of the category and percent of total sales. We'll also rank the sales and sort the rankings from largest to smallest. Well, that sounds very complicated, but in fact, and it would be if it wasn't for pivot tables, but we'll get into this now and I'll show you how easy this is to accomplish. So as normal, we'll pop into the pivot table 1 here and pick out our master pivot. I'll say copy and pop off to pivot 3 here and put it into the input cell. Paste. We already have the category column here, so all we have to do now is add the product name field and we'll put that in with the category. So that's our product name by category, and we have our sum of total in there automatically in the values section. All the other things we're asked for are also based off the totals here. So all we're going to do here is add more of these total fields into the values section. 5 in fact, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I'll just close off the field section for a second and we'll just go and rename these fields so we know what we're talking about. So product, this is sales, this is units sold, this is percent of category, this is percent of total, and this is the ranking. So these are the things we're asked for. Units sold, we need to change that. Currently it's showing exactly what this is, which is the amount, but what we want to do is translate that into units sold, which is, so we just right click on that and we'll go to Summarise Values By and say we're going to do a count rather than a sum. And that tells us that there were 26 units of Bidget sold during this period. The next thing then is the percent of category. So again, we'll right click there and we will show values as. In this case, it's percent of parent total. It's category, and that's okay. This one here, which is percent of total. We'll right click and again throw values as, in this case percent of grand total. And in the rankings we say show values as and rank largest to smallest. And we're ranking by product here in this instance, which is correct. Now we just want to sort the rankings, so I'll just click any cell in the rankings here, not the ranking header but the column, right click and we go sort and largest to smallest. That's the pivot table complete, apart from the timeline. We want to be able to see this by period. That represents the entire table at the moment, so we need to put a T period in. We'll insert a timeline by order date. We'll align that and snap to grid, which will help us to align it with the table here. I'll change the name of the timeline to period, and I'll just resize the columns here so everything fits. And there we go. So for January, February and March, we can see that for bedding, we can shrink up bedding if we want, but we see that for bedding, this product was the one that was the highest selling, ranking number 1, and this one was the lowest one for that. Similarly for decor and cleaning. So that's all there is to that. It sounded very complicated, but in the end quite simple to do. I advise you to have a watch the clip on this again, then have a bit of play with it, and there's some extra credit here if you want to change this, so to see product by customer as opposed to product by category. If you do take on the extra credit, remember you'll have to change the ranking and the category, as these will change if you change the category here. Okay, that's it. Bye for now.